key. No more starving, getting rid of inflammation. Choosing healthy choices, providing you with sound information. Bringing balance to hormones and insulin through food. With BFL, teaching you food choices to see it through. BFL, we're teaching you to eat food right. Teaching you to pair food with each bite. Balancing our body's microbiome, feeling so right. With diet-free life, the health features lose
All right, hello. This is Robert Ferguson. I want to say thank you for being. What's up? There are sounds everywhere in this world. Oh, Lord, help me. Well, anyway, I'm glad you are here. My name is Robert Ferguson. I am your nutritionist. I'm a guy who shares because I care. And today is no different. Now, joining me today is one of my very dear friends, one of our nutritionists, health and weight loss coaches, who lives in the beautiful state of Wisconsin. So without any additional delay, let's bring her on. What's up there, Amy?
Hi, Robert. How are you?
I am in the zone and feeling like I'm ready to, I don't know, I'm hot as hell, put it that way.
And I'm jealous. No, it's a nice day here. It's a nice day. It's on the cool side, windy, but it's a nice day.
Yeah, you wouldn't be jealous of this heat. Trust me, this is not where I want to be right now. I would love to be almost anywhere than where I am. So in California, where I live, Ventura, California, which you've been to many times.
Mm-hmm.
Ventura, like the weather's great, but about 3 to 5 times a year, we have this crazy heat. And because we don't have challenges with heat, and when I say crazy heat, if it's 85, that's hot. Yeah. And I'm not being a baby because I've been in 110, 115, 120. I know what it's like to be in that kind of heat. But where I live is like the sun is just right over us right now.
Mm-hmm.
So
is it humid?
No, we don't really have humidity.
Okay, so that's better.
Yeah, so we don't have that crazy heat, but it's not a nice heat. And depending on where you live, most homes in Ventura don't have air conditioning. So my kids, when they're with their mom in their home, they have air because they're on the east end. So you're getting closer to LA.
Okay.
And literally 5 miles, 3 miles
makes
is
a difference.
A big difference. Oh, huge. But anyway, people who are joining in, they don't want to hear us talk about heat, and they definitely don't want to hear me complain. Thank you for last night. That was a really nice, fun food as medicine nutrition approach. And
that was really, really good.
The response has been really well. Did you have any friends or customers or clients in the meeting?
Yes.
Okay. Were they all using the balance oil?
One is and one is not. And hopefully the one that's not will be.
Okay. Well, hopefully, I know Susie had someone that was in there and they were introduced to the balance oil. And they're like, this is what I need. And I've talked to about 7 people today. They were like, they had no idea about the importance of omega-3.
Correct.
So now I want to talk about that a little bit, but the highlight of our share today goes back to gaining clarity around the importance of taking control of your own health and not waiting on your doctor or the media to tell you what's right and what's not. Because if you wait on them, it may be right, it may not be right.
Exactly.
Right. So you and I know that there's a deficiency of omega-3. And a lot of people are walking around right now with a lot of inflammation in their body. And the only thing they're missing is what we actually have that we can give them.
Correct.
That's unbelievable to me. And about and thinking about that, I was like, you know what? Today would be a good day to talk about something that nobody really talks about, but most people are aware of it. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Now you're a mom. You know what it's like to raise kids, not in the 21st century, but in the 1980s or 1990s, early 2000s, right?
Right.
And when your babies were babies, did you give them peanut butter?
Not when they're babies. No, probably when they got to be 3 or 4.
3 or 4? Don't you think it was a little earlier than that? Maybe like 1.5?
I don't think
If
so.
you weren't breastfeeding.
No, I don't think I did. That's been a long time ago, but I really don't think I did.
See, when I was a kid, I remember hearing people talk about peanut butter. I remember it was encouraged to take peanut butter, not peanuts. But when a little kid is like 1.5, 2, kind of give them a little bit, mix it in their food. And that was the way it was for years. And then something happened. I don't know if it was like 20 years ago, 25 years ago, when everybody was like, if we don't want kids to have peanut allergies, then just don't give them peanut butter at all. The first 3 years of their life, no peanut butter. And everybody's like, oh, okay, now that's, but if you look at what has been happening in the last 10, 15, 20 years, more kids today than ever in history have peanut butter allergies.
Mm-hmm. I agree. When my kids were little, you didn't hear about the peanut allergies. Now you hear it all the time.
Right.
Exactly.
And the same as you're seeing with gluten, as people avoid gluten, and a lot of these moms who think they're helping their kids by avoiding gluten because they feel they're gluten sensitive and maybe their kid is, and they're like, we're not doing gluten in this house, and they buy everything that's gluten free.
Mm-hmm.
What happens is when your gut does not experience that gluten, when your gut does not experience that peanut butter, certain microbes don't get activated, and parts of your gut is like lost. That's a foreign substance, and we don't know what to really do with that.
Mm-hmm.
And so you train your microbiome, your gut health, to want to fend off, stay away from peanut butter, stay away from gluten, stay away from certain things. And it's creating havoc in our gut microbiome, and it's causing our immune system to be weakened. And people have no idea about it because doctors don't talk about it because they never were trained on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been thinking about this, and I was talking to someone about it. I was like, you know what? Amy wants to do a live. There's a doctor. His name is Dr. Markey. And he sat down with someone I like to watch named Megyn Kelly. You remember Megyn Kelly?
Yes.
Okay. So Megyn Kelly has a podcast. And so you and I are going to do a watch. You ready?
I'm ready.
And we can pause it and we can talk about it. But this is good for all of you grandmas out there, all of you parents. If you want to better understand why so many more people have peanut allergies, we're going to show you, because Dr. Mark sat down with Megyn Kelly. And this is one of many things that they talked about. And I believe he has a new book out, which I will be getting. But this guy is a trained epidemiologist, Harvard grad, really smart. And he is bringing to the light a whole bunch of stuff that we talk about all the time. And he really throws the industry, as far as the establishment, under the bus. And he just speaks the truth. And he says it so well. Let's just watch it. You ready?
Hear it. Yes.
Okay.
Can you talk about the peanut allergy problem?
Well, here's a good example of a recommendation that the establishment put out with such absolutism when really they just made it up. And that was, in order to prevent peanut allergies, mothers who are pregnant or lactating, any child 0 through 3 years of old should avoid peanuts 100%, peanut butter in particular. Mm-hmm. Peanuts have a choking hazard, so we're talking about peanut butter. It had been done for a long time that you would give an infant at 5 or 6 months, as soon as they can eat, a little bit of peanut butter, maybe a little milk, eggs, and that would that was kind of a standard, in Africa, they would add a little peanut to the soup that they would drink. So,
okay, so I just want to stop there for a second. So that's kind of what I was saying, right?
Right.
And so when you add a little bit of the foods that a kid is going to be eating, then it nurtures the gut microbiome. And so that kid, when I was a kid, because my mom did that, no one told them not to, like they're telling parents today or have been. I don't have a problem with peanuts. I mean, you go on a plane now, you can't even get peanuts anymore. They had to,
Right.
It's unbelievable because all these kids with peanut allergies.
Allergies.
So he is talking about how it was and how the establishment came in. Well, let's just keep watching.
Okay.
Ready?
so
You start to get them used to it.
yeah, their
Introduce
immune
it.
system
Yeah.
learns it and they tolerate it. It's called immune tolerance. But in their hubris, the American Academy of Pediatrics had this committee, and they said total peanut abstinence in the first 3 years of life in order to prevent peanut allergies. They had it perfectly backwards. It ignited the modern day peanut allergy epidemic. A few years into that recommendation, the peanut allergy rates soared. And the establishment started freaking out and thinking, oh, what's going on here? And they concluded anti-science mothers are not following our recommendation. We need to double down and increase
wow.
compliance. And then they skyrocketed, and we saw a new type of peanut allergy, which is the ultra severe anaphylactic reaction showing up. A kid can be near a peanut or peanut butter and have trouble breathing. That's a real thing. We shouldn't mock it. This is, by and large, an epidemic that was ignited by this hubris. And then everyone played along, the bandwagon thinking, the group thinking medicine, the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, NIAID. They played along. They sort of firmed up the recommendations, supported it. 15 years later, just 8 years ago, the study finally got published, a basic, simple study randomizing kids to the two approaches: early peanut butter exposure, age 5 months, 6 months, versus abstinence. And there was a massive difference within a few years. Massive, eightfold. Why not do that study initially?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Now, if I was a parent and my kid was allergic to peanuts and peanut butter, I would be pissed off. Because they put information out there, the media runs with it. It's one guy's opinion, and the next thing you know, you have an epidemic of kids being allergic to peanuts. And that was caused by some person who felt that they could make that decision, but no one ever questioned it.
Isn't that interesting?
I mean, my kids, because I remember it was advised, we still ate peanuts. I remember being in the doctor's office and he was trying to lecture me on avocado. I said, "Excuse me, sir, we got that handled." And then he tried to come back to it, the doctor. I go, "Hey, I'm a nutritionist. We're good with all that." "Oh, well, with parents," I go, No. I say, "You and I, we have different agreements. We look at nutrition completely different. I'm good." Because both my kids were they were both breastfed for a good year, so we made it a year, which is great. Everybody breastfeed your kids. Like, Amy, I don't know if you know how important that is, but breastfeeding is, if you can do it, that is one of the best gifts a parent can give their kid.
It is. It is.
Is breastfeeding, because the breast milk is nurturing that microbiome. And vaginal births, that is a gift.
Yep.
If you can have a vaginal birth, because that's where they get their initial microbiome, is from their mom coming out the womb.
Right. And I feel bad for moms that, that cannot experience the vaginal birth, or ones that nursing does not work for. And it's sad. But
It's sad.
It is the best. But I know there is some people that do have issues that cannot do that. So, but I agree. It's definitely the best.
Well, and when you look at the peanut butter situation, right? You think about gluten, then you see a connection with omega-3.
Yes.
If you wait on doctors, if you wait on the media, you will live a big part of your life ignorant and having to deal with health conditions that could have been avoided if you were informed.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean,
Right. So I'm glad that neither one of my children, my kids, are allergic to peanut butter, because I have been sitting here thinking I do not remember giving them peanut butter at an early age, not because of allergies, but I peanut butter is one of my favorite things to eat, and I was so afraid of them choking. So I know I waited for them to be older. So I'm not knowing this. I'm really glad that they're not allergic to peanut butter.
right. And they were around it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So everybody expose yourself to as much variety of food as possible.
Mm-hmm.
It is to your benefit.
Yes.
And it's to your benefit, because I was talking to someone who was at our talk last night, which made me smile so much, Amy, because she wants to get her health together. And she said on the phone when I was talking to her, she goes, "Hey, I want to get the oil, the balanced oil. I want to get the tests." And I said, "Well, while you have me on the phone, is there anything else I can help you with?" She goes, "Well, my nutrition, I am getting rid of everything that is far from nature, because she wants to eat grass-fed butter, grass-fed beef, wild salmon, wild trout, knowing that if I eat those kind of foods, I'm going to get more of the omega-3s, and
Exactly.
that is going to help me." So
Exactly. That's wonderful.
So anyway, those are the thoughts on, and thank you for going over that video. But what does Amy want to talk about?
Well, right there, what you talked about was extremely interesting. I would like to focus a little bit on our wonderful Balance Oil Plus. We have this wonderful product that we've been introduced to, and I've been talking a lot about it to my clients, Diet Free Life, and my salon, mentioning the polyphenols, just different things like that. So I guess if you wouldn't mind, Robert, if you could explain the polyphenols in a way that, as you always do, that people will really understand the importance of the polyphenols.
So polyphenols is one of the main reasons why people used to, or have been saying for years, that drinking red wine is healthy, because it's very rich in polyphenols, specifically resveratrol. Polyphenols work like antioxidants. So a lot of people are familiar with antioxidants. They help prevent radical damage on the cellular level. We have a system in our bodies that helps us fight off inflammation, oxidation inside of the body that's not good. And a big part of that is polyphenols and antioxidants. So when you look at an orange, for instance, the orange color, well, you know that that's polyphenols. If you see a red bell pepper, you know that that's polyphenols. Same as a red strawberry. So there's a lot of health benefits and protection that comes with polyphenols. And so polyphenols naturally occur in fish. And in fish, you also have fat in the form of what they call omega-3 that the fish tend to get from algae. And so it naturally occurs. And so we know that when you consume fish that's close to nature, you're getting the polyphenols with the omega-3s, and it works magic inside your body. Magic. The challenge with when they would extract oil from fish to make a fish oil or an omega product, when they purify the oil, they leave behind the polyphenols and they don't add them back. And that's the missing component to all of these fish oils. And that's why they don't work the same as the one that we recommend.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
Because the technology with the balance oil is that they take the polyphenols from unripe olives, because olives are very rich in polyphenols
Right.
and, you know, neutral, healthy fat. And they take that polyphenols and they merge it into with the omega-3 oils that they get from wild fish. And then with their proprietary formula and this system, then it makes it where it's back intact. And so what happened is the polyphenols works like a chaperone, and this is the omega-3, where it takes that omega-3 and it gets it on the cellular level, gets it into the tissues. And as a result of that, you have people who used to have eczema no longer have eczema after 30-something years. All of these benefits that come with the omega-3s is mind-blowing. Same as even the polyphenols.
It is.
So that's the magic. And you can't get that. There's no other product anywhere. Only the balance oil has that. Only now, and one day, I mean, you and I may be gone, but the day will come where all of these other fish oil companies and omega companies are going to have to do what Balance Oil has done.
Right. They're going to have to add the polyphenols if they want to stay above sea.
Otherwise, I mean, think about, okay, here's the part that's really interesting to me. We're born, next thing you know, we're 20 years old. Next thing you know, we're 30. And all of these conditions start to show up. You know, of course, people start to gain weight. They get out of college, they get a job, they don't have the time, they have a family. But if you just look, right, average woman is 40, 45, 50. If you've lived that long, blood pressure, cholesterol, joints, like all these things show up that were not there at 14. You follow me?
Oh, I do.
I believe a big part of that is the slow breakdown and lack of omega-3s is the stimulus for a lot of the problems that people are experiencing.
Oh, and I totally agree. And I'm very thankful that we, came across this mainly. I mean, you were the one that came across it and introduced myself to it. And I mean, I guess I was ignorant. I didn't know how important omega-3s are. And I posted a presentation on Facebook, and I made the comment that I am not like a sales person, but I really believe in this product and how important it is. And if that's one thing that I can tell people, the difference that I'm feeling already, just overall health, I'm very fortunate. As of right now, I have no major health issues. I'm on no medication. But how I feel, I mean, my sleeping is better. Anxiety is better. And I did want to share too that I'm seeing, even with my husband, he started taking the Omega Plus Balance Oil, and we have seen a huge improvement in his blood pressure. So that right there was so exciting just to see that. So I'm hoping now when he goes to the doctor that we can get him off the blood pressure medicine, because I don't want him on those any longer. So I just wanted to really express.
So for people who are sitting there and they're going, I mean, has he been exercising? What else is he doing? Or is the only thing different he's taking the balance oil?
Actually, I'm glad you said that, because I was going to add that in and I would have forgotten that part. So I was actually talking to a client about it just today, actually a potential customer, which I think she's going to definitely jump on board with the oil. And she had asked me the same exact question. So has he changed anything else? And I started to laugh and I said, no. I hate to say this, but he eats what he wants, doesn't pay any attention. And I'm not throwing him under the bus. It's just the way he is. Does not exercise other than, the daily routine. Not that he sits on the couch all day. I'm not saying that. Just the daily normal routine. So nothing has changed except the balance oil. So to me, that is extremely exciting.
Oh no, I mean, all right. This is how exciting it is to me. And I think about moments like this all the time. This is a weird part. I mean, like when I was a kid, I remember sitting at the kitchen table and we're eating, which is so funny when I sit back and think about it, because because growing up, right, our house was so tiny that you had a kitchen, you had a table in the kitchen. Like most homes I go into now, even apartments, the kitchen table's like off to the side. It's not in the kitchen. Like our kitchen table, like if I was sitting at my kitchen table when I was a kid, I could touch the oven, I could touch the stove,
Wow.
I could touch the sink without moving.
You can pull it right out of the oven.
I mean, it's like, I'm serious. It's like everything it's all in the same room.
That's small.
And I have nothing but fond memories about
Memories.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, where I was headed is I was thinking, like, what if I was on a board and let's say it was in a town hall meeting and all these people are there and we're lecturing, we're talking, and someone came up. Let's say it was you, Amy. And Amy says, hey, I want to talk about the importance of omega-3s and polyphenols. And if you had shared the balanced oil that day, I would have kind of been embarrassed because I would have been like, wow, I didn't know about this. And I would have just been like intrigued and probably would have made comments with my ignorance that you would have just stomped me right into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's that important.
It's extremely important. It's extremely important.
So like in our talk, I put in our title, damaging nutrition advice, right? So whether it's what they did with parents as far as peanut oils or peanut butter, and all of the people that you know that have high blood pressure, they're never going to change the way they eat. They have no idea that they're insufficient with omega-3.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have none.
And Robert, I was one of those people. I was
No,
one
I
of those
know.
people. And yeah, and I share that with clients and potential people that, you know, I was one of those people. I was unaware, and I feel blessed that this has been, we now have the knowledge of how important it is.
On it, and it only gets better.
Mm-hmm.
But go back to the peanut butter, right? Every parent and grandparent who learns what we talked about peanut butter can now go back to their new grandkids and their kids and make sure that they get introduced to peanut butter so they don't have allergies when they get older.
Yes. Yes.
Because avoiding it, and there's a lot of doctors who have no idea, and they're still recommending to parents, you know what, the first 3 years, let's just avoid it. Not knowing the damage that little recommendation is causing to that kid for the rest of that kid's life. Because once you have that allergy and you're the guy or the woman that gets on the plane and you have to let everybody know that you have a peanut allergy, that's with you for life because your mom or parents, family decided we're going to follow what they recommend and keep you away from peanut butter for the first 3 years of your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had no idea who would know.
And it's the same thing to me right now. If I could go in with every person who hears us talk and I could go to a doctor's meeting with them, and let's say they have a skin condition or whatever the condition, I guarantee you that doctor will never bring up the potential of you having that problem because you are deficient in omega-3 in your body on the cellular level.
Because they don't know.
To me, that's damaging.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And it's not just what they say, is what they don't say
Mm-hmm.
is damaging.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Oh, I agree 100%. I agree 100%.
So, all right. So let me ask you. So if you agree 100%, and we've talked, right? Because this is a business. We have a product that can help a lot of people. They don't know it exists, but we want them to know about it. So let's say you go to a naturopath or you go to a chiropractor and you say, hey, I got this product. It's called balance oil. Most of them, unless you disagree with me, I think most of them would be like, yeah, I'm not interested.
Yeah,
And then,
I can definitely comment on that. So
okay.
obviously not going to say any names, but yes, I was in a office and I did a little presentation and left some information, and she said that she would look it up online and get back to me, and that was probably pushing a month ago now. Have not heard, but last week then I did go to a chiropractor and presented it, and which I needed to get in contact with you too, Robert, is she is very interested and we're going to set up a time with her. So that's really exciting that she sounded very interesting and willing to help people even more.
Okay.
So it can go either way.
All right. So let's go back to the one who said that they're not interested, right?
Mm-hmm. Basically, yes.
Now, and I'm not throwing Susie under the bus, but one of our coaches, her name is Susie, great coach, by the way, everybody. And Susie's with us on a lot of lives. But when I first shared with her the balance oil,
Mm-hmm.
Susie wasn't interested because the company behind it is a network marketing company. And so in her mind, she went to all the negatives she had experienced with network marketing. And I basically had to talk her into it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in talking her into it, as you already know, she learned that, a lot of people with dry eye, a lot of vision challenges people have is due to a deficiency of omega-3,
Right. Mm-hmm.
right? So her dad, who was on the brink of not even being able to drive because his dry eye was so bad, he now no longer uses any solutions. There is no problems with he's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's wonderful. It's
And
amazing.
the same as like with your husband, the only thing different in his life is that he takes oil.
Takes the balance oil. Mm-hmm.
I mean, so I have moments when I get doctors on the call or people who feel they know a lot about nutrition. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them, and they drive me absolutely crazy.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure.
Because I want to be nice to them. It's kind of like I've been talking to a lot of real estate agents, right? And I'm fascinated with real estate, and I have a whole bunch of ideas, and I'm helping out a couple realtors, and it's fun for me. And if I went and started talking about real estate and what I think is about real estate and the best ways to sell and the best ways to buy and the best ways to invest, which is not my skill set, a really good realtor would be like, hold up, wait a minute. you're like so far off, but I actually think I know what I'm talking about. That's how I see most people around nutrition. Many of them really believe they know what they're talking about. And they are so far off. And they're the same as the doctor who got out there and said, first 3 years of life, don't have your kid consume any peanut butter.
Right.
Which now created an epidemic.
Right.
With kids that are now allergic to peanut butter.
Mm-hmm.
Because of his crazy ass advice. And everybody was like, oh, okay.
Exactly.
It's mind blowing to me.
Mm-hmm.
So for those of you who are listening to Amy and I, and you're here on the regular and you catch us when you catch us and you always tune in, I know that you are on a mission to improve your health. I get that. But we got to come up with a way, Amy, to reach the people who think they know, and to also reach the people who are in the dark, who have no idea.
Right.
That's who I'm going after.
Hmm.
And I'm having fun with that.
That's our mission.
Yeah.
Reach out to more people.
Like I literally, okay, this is a real, I mean, everything we talk about is real. But I had this lady about 2 months ago. Her company made it possible for me to be her coach. And in our very first call, we started going, I made a comment about seed oils, or somehow it came up, and the negatives of seed oils, right? Causing inflammation, links to cancer, poor quality of life, right? Like avoid the soybean oils, avoid the canola oils, avoid the safflower oil. So I'm explaining seed oils to her. And she goes, well, that's good because I only use grapeseed oil. And I said, okay, well, grapeseed oil is a seed oil. And that is not an oil that I would recommend to anybody. I never talked to her again. So
That was the end of it.
she got offended because in her mind, grapeseed oil was healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And here I was, she's meeting me for the first time. And that's not the goal. I didn't want that to come up in our first meeting, but it did.
But it did.
And I said, hey, I wouldn't recommend that.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
Because she had a mindset that it's a good. Back in the day, it was okay to use. Back in the day, so she still has that.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I guess the lesson there that I would want everybody to get is this woman was set on what she believed to be true.
Exactly. But
that's all I'm talking about.
Wasn't that known for like the high temperature cooking?
A lot of oils were,
yeah,
which is a whole nother conversation, right? But
exactly.
A lot of oils were promoted for high smoke points.
Exactly. So that could have been her thing, but
well, it doesn't. I mean, like none of that matters. Like what I guess what I'm trying to share with you and everyone who's listening or watching is in her mind. I don't care what you thought it was 1,000 years ago. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't helping you. It's inflammatory. It's bad for you. I am your coach. I am the nutritionist. This is my space. This is what I do. You are wrong. Mm-hmm. You need to stop using grapeseed oil. Mm-hmm. Stop it. I don't care what you thought you knew 100,000 years ago. It ain't good for you. And because I was going against what she wanted to be true, she quit.
She quit. Unfortunately, her loss.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people like that, right? Mm-hmm. So I have a family relative that years ago I told them don't use Accent to flavor your food. So there's a product called Accent.
Right.
And Accent is primarily MSG. And you hear a lot of things about MSG. There's way more negatives about MSG. And so talking to this person who had experienced cancer, I said, hey, let's call the company. So I had the Accent in my hand. There was an 800 number on the bottle. It was the middle of the day. It was during the week. So I called it, Amy. And I got somebody on the phone and I said, hey, I'm sitting here with one of my clients who has experienced cancer. And I'm sharing with her that there's some negatives with your product Accent potentially linked to some cancers. And I would like to hear from you, and I had them on speaker, that it's okay to use your product, Accent. That man on the phone that day, I wish I could have recorded it. He says, I wouldn't do it. This is an employee at the company for Accent.
He knew.
Now, that's interesting, a little polarizing, but check this out. A year later, that person who was on the call with me, who heard the man say, don't use it, she's still using it.
Ignorance.
Now, is that ignorance or is that
Yeah.
stupid?
Stupid.
I would say stupid.
Stupid.
Like a lot of people don't like when I use that. They feel, oh, that's kind of mean. I go, well, what do you call it?
Mm-hmm.
If I show you on the package of cigarettes that this may lead to cancer, and you continue to smoke cigarettes,
When you have the
knowing that
knowledge,
you're going to get cancer.
right? You have the knowledge and you choose to do it. That's stupid.
I mean, I don't know what else you call it.
Right.
Now, you can say I'm addicted. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then we could have that conversation. Because people will do things that they know aren't good for them. But when you bypass and don't want help and you're not looking at making any changes, I got to put you in the category of stupid or dumb.
Yeah.
Dumbass. You're a dumbass. and without negative energy, right? Without negative energy, like I'm not bothered because you don't care. So when I say dumbass, there's no energy behind that.
Mm-hmm.
That's mean. You're just a dumbass.
And you're not willing to help yourself. Very sad.
I mean, I'm not asking you to go pick up my daughter from school because you're a dumbass.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Exactly.
So at the end of the day, I think our take home of the bottom line of this conversation today. So I'll share mine, and I would love to hear your thoughts. Is you must become your own health advocate, and you must challenge things. Challenge things. Like if I say, "Hey, the balance oil will be good for you," then the challenge could be, "Robert, can you please explain why?" Mm-hmm. Hey, is there something you can send me that can back up what you just shared? Mm-hmm. Is there a video I can watch where I get better understanding of it? Like that's a challenge, which is a welcome challenge.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And what about you? Like, what's your bottom line? What would you like to share with people or leave people with as a result of our conversation?
Exactly what you said. When you introduced it to me, if you remember back in, I think that was in February or March.
It was the first week of February.
Okay.
I mean, sorry, the first week of March.
Okay. I knew it was right in that time frame. I've always trusted you and had faith and everything in you, but I still went off and did research on my own. And that's what I tell people. I share my knowledge, what I know. And if they still act hesitant, it's like, if I can give you more information, go online. It's out there. Go on the internet and search the benefits of omega-3s. It's mind-blowing. It is absolutely mind-blowing. So yeah, you have to be your own advocate.
Okay. So actually, I'm glad you brought that up. So I want to share this with you and anyone who's on our team and they're talking about the balance oil. Yes, you can find a lot of data that talks about the benefits of omega-3. But it's important that you always stress, and I know you do, so I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about everyone else. You want it's got to be the balance oil. It can't just be omega-3s. You got to have a really strong delivery system because most people, when they test and they've been taking some other omega-3, their numbers are not good. Right. Everyone who uses the balance oil, because we have a test, their numbers are always good. Mm-hmm. So yes, it's omega-3s. Yes, it's polyphenols, but there's a product that has the right amount of both in the right combination with the right delivery system and with a test to prove that what you are using is working. And you don't got to wait a year.
Exactly.
You find out in 120 days.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well,
this was wonderful, Robert.
Well, thank you, Amy.
I'm glad we got to have this time together. Thank you very much.
All right. Any last words? Anything you want to share with your clients, with your customers, your potential clients, all the amazing people in the beautiful state of Wisconsin?
Beautiful state of Wisconsin. I'm just going to say to people now, you've heard it from Robert and myself. And if you're at all thinking about it, please get in touch with me or Robert and jump on board, because it's mind blowing, and I think it's life changing.
Oh, it's a staple.
Yeah. So
It's like when you go to the store, you buy toothpaste.
it's a staple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, salt and pepper in my house is a staple.
Yes. Yes.
And both my daughters are now doing the balanced oil.
Mm-hmm.
I use the balanced oil, and it's a win-win.
Yep.
So, all right. So, are we good?
We're good. So thank you very much.
All right, you guys. Until the next one.
Adios.
Bye-bye.
Okay. See ya.
World of dice is a new way to see. No more counting calories, just living free. Robert Ferguson's got the plan you need. With diet-free life, it's the key. No more starving, getting rid of inflammation. Choosing healthy choices, providing you with sound information. Bringing balance to hormones and insulin through food. With DFL, teaching you food choices to see it through. DFL, we're teaching you to eat food right. Teaching you to pair food with each bite. Balancing our body's microbiome, feeling so right. With diet-free life, the health futures lose pride.
Hello.